Hey guys, who we got here? Mike? You still here, Mike? I'll answer your question if you are. That's you, I take it, the one person here. I'll wait. Yo, Mike, what's up, bro? I'm pretty sure I listened to the whole thing. Um I think he's probably right. Chances are we're never going to get the files, and if we do, it's going to be very very little, and everybody important in them is going to be protected. Yeah, I believe him. But I listened to. I'm pretty sure I listened to all of it. I just have a terrible fucking memory. I can't remember if I did or not. But I turned it on once I got your email. Women that wear cat ears cringe. You think so? What brought that up? Just out of curiosity. It's four people, guys. Hit the like button. You know the routine. Hit the like button. Mike, I didn't see you this afternoon for my other show. It's funny. Random thought. Gotcha. Did you hear how he thinks America needs to go through another Great Depression? Oh, I don't think I did hear that part. So maybe I didn't listen to it all. Did he stop? I probably stopped it when they stopped talking about the files. I'm trying to remember. What did he say about it? I might have. It's hard for me to listen to because I can't stand Michael Franzese, but I still did listen to it. Oh, okay. No problem, Mike. Only four people. My algorithm has slowed down. I'm not getting as many views now. It happens fucking constantly with YouTube, but we'll see how today goes. Last few days, it's been taking a long time to even get to like 100 people. And we're only getting up to around 300 when we were getting up to over 1,000. So I did some reading on Reddit about, these vertical live streams, and it appears to happen to everybody. Because of how big 38 trillion in debt is, to get out of that, we need to go through another Great Depression. Yeah, I think I did hear about that. I think I did hear about that. Oh, I don't know. I don't think it would be a good idea for us to go through another Great Depression, even if it meant fixing the debt somehow. I don't think that would be a good idea. People will suffer. People will die. But with all the shit Trump is doing now, it's already going to be a lot of suffering and dying. Hit the like button, guys, whoever's watching. Mike ain't no Joe Donato. What does that mean? It's beautiful out. I hope this show is worth it. Could be out there doing something else. Got to wait for that one MAGA person to come in and argue with me, and then boom, we're on a roll after that. You know, anybody who is watching that disagrees with me about Trump destroying America, please comment about it. I'll have to go back and watch what's new with the Tony Pizza saga. Oh yeah, he bought a Chevy, some sort of box truck for $1,800. Now he lives in a box truck, and he is just on like on top of the world. Like he feels like you know, like he made it. Like he's reached peak success. Little boy mustache. Why am I not surprised you're out here looking for little boys? What destroyed your hair? You guys are great with the insults. Yeah, I know. Pointing out that I'm bald, that's never been done before. And I am the only one actually, too. I know that that's the first thing that comes to your mind when you see me because there's nobody else out there that's bald. It's just me, so he's a made guy finally in his mind. Oh, really? Michael's politics are ass fucking backwards. He's an idiot. When it comes to politics, I'm sorry. And Bill Maher just wrecked him on that podcast of his, that Bill's podcast. Fred Loco, your wife. Yeah. She pulled it all out when I was banging her hard, Fred. Joe Donato was an ex-mob. No, I know who Joe Donato was, but I mean, became a born-again Christian. Yeah. Listen, I don't believe any of those guys when they say that. Just my honest opinion. But when people say that they, like a lot of these mob guys, all of a sudden they found God and stuff, fuck out of here. It's just the next hustle. It's like Franzese. Franzese just uses the religion stuff to make money, This is my guy, Bald-Sicilian. What's up, Paul Tenney? How you doing, man? Trump got all charges dismissed to no longer a convict. When did that happen? How do charges get dismissed when you're already convicted of them? Oh, Georgia election interference case. I didn't even know that was still going. Yeah. He's a convict, Patrick. That you got the wrong case. He was never convicted of this. They to hold him criminally responsible. Now seen three. Yeah, this is because of the Supreme Court's decision. I don't even know how they just dropped it. All the cases were pretty much dropped as soon as the Supreme Court made that decision. Well, after he won the election and stuff and was about to take office. He's still a convicted felon. It wasn't an appeal. I'm looking at it right now. You got the wrong case. This is the Georgia election interference case. This is not the hush money payment cover-up case. He was not convicted of this shit. He's got 34 felonies still. Yeah. Well, but I thought it was already dismissed. Yeah, of course. The Supreme Court made a decision, even though, that is not in the duties of his presidency. I mean, he was tried to steal the election by calling Raffensperger and telling him, I need you to find me 12,000 votes. I mean, it's a clear-cut case of election interference, trying to steal the election. But he's still a felon, guys. I hate to break it to you. Yeah, Patrick Rogers, I don't think it was an appeal. You appeal something after you get convicted. He was never convicted of this. They dropped the charges. That means nothing's happened yet. Like if I get charged with something today and tonight they drop the charges, there's nothing to appeal. The charges are dropped. This is just one of the cases that we all knew was going to go away because of the Supreme Court decision. This guy's clueless. Yeah, right. Feel free to come on here and debate me. MAGA, don't get it twisted. Trump is not a savior of this country, and he is helping destroy this country just as much as this guy's side is doing the same. Yeah, he's just as brainwashed as you. I am? Sure, Antonino. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. It's funny you guys try to make that false equivalence between Democrats and Republicans of today. It's insane. All those cases are under appeal. All what cases? This is the find me 11,000 more votes case. Yeah, exactly. I thought it was 12, but yeah. This was not what he was convicted of. They said he's no longer a convict. You're wrong about that. I can't click the link like a normal horizontal live. Jane, what video is that? Oh, Jane Creek put something in here? Who has already bought ALX 2049? Okay. A new prosecutor dropped the charge. This isn't the NYC case. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying to them. This is not a case where he was convicted. The first guy said he's no longer a convict. You got your. This is the thing. Donald Trump has been indicted so many times that you guys can't even keep the cases straight in your head. He's a 34-time felon as we speak. More importantly, he never takes accountability, and this is precisely why the people that really rule the world are using that buffoon. That's part of the reason. Yeah. It only went away because he was elected. Yeah, that's the only reason. It's not that he's not guilty of the shit. It's just he got elected. That's why he needed to become president. He'd be in prison if he didn't get elected in last November. Never seen anyone debate literally anyone on his channel. Who, me? Well, Mike, I've debated many people, but you could be today's debate if you'd like. 410-941-9850. Feel free to call in. Just don't call from a blocked number. It ain't going to work. You're brainwashed, bro. It's okay. MAGA is too. Tell me how I'm brainwashed when I bash both parties, and I think your problem is you either don't like me or you really are kind of a Trump supporter and I piss you off. But to say I'm brainwashed is insane. How am I brainwashed? Everything I say is a fact. And I bash Democrats as well as Republicans. So you're a fucking asshole. That's the problem, Antonino. And if you don't like me, why don't you just leave? Because if all you're going to do is throw insults, I'll just block you anyway. I'm so glad you bring all this to our attention. Personally, I knew Trump was dirty, crooked, and a gangster boss, a boss who thinks of himself only. Oh, exactly. And thank you. Yeah. That's what I'm here for. Democrats have stolen elections for decades. Which ones exactly? Which ones? Give me a specific one. Those felonies were actually misdemeanors and concocted some nonsense to make them felonies. It's a joke, dude. It's called lawfare. You guys could dish it out, but you can't take it. Now it's our turn. How's it going for you, T-Bag? Since all your lawfare, all the cases are getting dismissed. How's that James Comey and Letitia James thing going? No, what Trump is doing is lawfare. He put out a tweet, a Truth Social post, and said, Pam Bondi, prosecute my enemies, and 3 days later they were indicted. You know what I mean? Trump was just a criminal. It wasn't lawfare. That was a criminal being prosecuted. And again, it's amazing that you guys don't understand this, but crimes have what's called enhancements, and they can make a certain crime a more serious crime. It's just like if a drug dealer gets caught with drugs, it's one thing. If he gets caught with drugs and a gun, big trouble. Okay. So Donald Trump committed 34 misdemeanors as a way to cover up another crime, which makes them felonies. The fact that he was trying to cover up another crime, the crime being basically election interference. He was trying to cover up election interference by making hush money payments or a hush money payment to Stormy Daniels and falsifying business records 34 times to hide that hush money payment. Yeah, most likely. 34 made up felonies. Of course. But if they were Joe Biden got the same felonies, you would act like it was fucking bloody murder. And you would talk about how they're absolutely real felonies. And guess what? We would be saying with you, yeah, they are real felonies. No doubt. He committed real felonies because we're not like you guys. You guys, anything that Trump does, if it's bad, no, it's not. It's not true. It's fake news. It's not real. It's, it's made up. It's concocted in some way. Yeah. 34 fabricated felony. Well, let me tell you something, Paul Sauls. I know one thing for a fact. You can't be convicted of fake felonies. Only real felonies can be felonies on your record. They can't just make up felonies and say, oh, this is a felony now. That's not how it works. You guys don't understand the law like you don't understand politics. Yeah, the guy with the 7% approval rating. Yeah, the people's president. Yep. All right, well, that's up to you. I mean, most of America does.
To accept, press 1.
Yeah, what's up?
May I ask you a question about the election interference?
Yes.
Okay, so how much money did Hillary Clinton and the DNC have to pay the FEC because of their election interference?
What was their election interference exactly?
Well, they paid for the Steele dossier, which is make-believe. They just made it up out of whole cloth.
Mm-hmm.
They got the deep state and the FBI in on that, so those people were helping them. Mm-hmm. But then the FEC stepped in and said, hey, that money that you spent on that phony dossier, you put that down as a business expense, but you should have put that down as Operation Research, or I don't know if it's Opposition Research. So they fined him $8,000, and then the DNC was fined almost $100,000. Why didn't the FEC fine Donald Trump for his little flub on the ledger? I mean, it was the same thing that Hillary Clinton did.
I honestly don't know anything about it.
Well, I'm sure you don't. Because here's the point. The scrutiny.
But it's different. I guarantee you. Hold on. Don't talk over me. Don't talk over.
Stand this kind of scrutiny.
All right. So I don't know much about that, but I guarantee. Call back, and when you decide not to talk over me, nobody's going to talk over me. So let's see. We're gonna find out about this now because I don't know much about it. Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign and the Democratic National Committee have agreed to pay $113,000 to settle a federal election commission investigation into whether they violated campaign finance law by reporting spending on research that eventually became the infamous Steele dossier. That's according to documents sent Tuesday to the Coolidge-Reagan Foundation, which had filed an administrative complaint in 2018 accusing the Democrats of misreporting payments made to a law firm during the 2016 campaign to obscure the spending. So which had filed administrative complaint in 2018 accusing the Democrats of misreporting. Okay, so the Clinton campaign hired Perkins, which had hired Fusion GPS, a research and intelligence firm, to conduct opposition research on Republican candidate Donald Trump's time. Well, here, listen, I'll just tell you this because I don't act like I know shit I don't know about. I don't know much about this, but the thing is, do you think that Donald Trump's Justice Department wouldn't have tried her for this if it was a crime? Are you telling me that after years of Donald Trump having his crowds chant "lock her up," that he had a crime on her but decided, nah, we're not going to prosecute it? There's obviously a reason why it wasn't prosecuted, why the way Donald Trump's was. And Mike Ramey, this is where me and you disagree. Just when I start to think you're a reasonable individual, just because you don't see it as a crime doesn't make it not a crime. The guy falsified business records, which is illegal. He did it 34 times, and he did it to cover up election interference, which is illegal. So he didn't just fill out some paperwork wrong. Mike, the guy paid a porn star who he was fucking behind his wife's back $130,000 or whatever it was to not tell the electorate, the voting public, that he had an affair with a porn star behind his wife's back. You see the difference? Like, I'll read up more in the Hillary thing. I don't really care that much because Hillary never became president. It really doesn't matter to me. I'm worried about the president. But obviously there's differences. And you can't say all he did was fill out paperwork wrong, Mike, because you're skipping over the fact that he made a hush money payment as a form of election interference. That's election interference. You know how Donald Trump says that 60 Minutes editing a Kamala Harris interview is election interference? Well, then consider what making a hush money payment to a porn star to cover up an affair is. Because obviously, something like that can do damage to you in an election. So you're making a payment to the porn star to cover it up. And then you're lying on your business records to make sure it stays covered up, to make sure that the hush money payment stays covered up. So, Mike, you're more reasonable. I wouldn't be surprised if any of those other people in here said it, but you're too reasonable to It is as a form of election interference, Mike. It is. How do you not see that? If I pay a porn star to cover up an affair, no, it's not illegal. But if I'm running for president and that affair, the knowledge of that affair could influence the election, then it becomes a crime. You can't interfere in elections. That's a crime. And what you guys don't realize is that's what happened. I mean, that's the underlying crime is the most important part of it. Forget about the falsifying business records. He committed election interference by paying off a porn star to keep her mouth shut. And Donald Trump is the one always screaming about election interference, always. But you guys don't mind it when he's doing it. Mike, that's what surprises me about you. Just when I start to think you're logical. Mark Easter, real brilliant. You're a clever guy. Everybody loves to hate Trump, but if it wasn't for him, it would be speaking a foreign language right now. First of all, complete your sentence. If it wasn't for him, would be speaking at foreign language right now. How do you figure? This is what I mean when I say you guys are conspiracy theorists. Who is going to get us to speak a foreign language? Who exactly? Trump didn't prosecute because he's not a freaking asshole like people you representing total evildoers. Are you kidding me? He's the guy that yelled for years that he was going to prosecute. You guys are full of shit. If he could have put Hillary away, if he could put her away today, he would do it. But you're telling me she committed a crime, but Trump said, no, we're not going to prosecute her. But in his second term, he said, prosecute John Bolton, James Comey, Letitia James, Adam Schiff, all of them. He told his fucking Department of Justice 10 months into his presidency on a Truth Social post, prosecute my enemies now. Time is running out, meaning the statute of limitations. We're looking weak. But Hillary, his worst enemy, the woman he hates more than anyone on this planet, he said, no. We got her dead to rights, but we're just going to let that slide. That's the fact. That's how you know Hillary didn't do anything on the level of what he did. Otherwise, he would have prosecuted her. Okay? He would have prosecuted her. And what else was I going to say? Fuck. I forget. But vindictive prosecutions, that's his thing. He wants to prosecute his enemies. Oh, I was going to say, that's how when you guys bring up Joe Biden and Hunter's laptop and Burisma and all this horse shit, literally a Republican House Oversight Committee, not a Democrat House Oversight Committee, a Republican House Oversight Committee investigated him for years and said, we just don't have anything. He didn't commit any crimes. They cleared him, and that's why he was never impeached. Bro, the first time you talk over me, I'm hanging up on you. You do this. You've called like 5 times. Every time you call, you talk over me.
That's fair enough.
Okay.
So I apologize.
All right. Now go ahead.
The reason Trump didn't go after Hillary is because what she did wasn't a crime either. It was a campaign violation. Same thing Trump did, campaign violation. John Edwards did the same thing. His wife was dying of cancer. He spent a ton of money to hide that thing. No one charged him of a crime. They didn't. I don't even think they charged him a fine. So go ahead.
No. It's not a campaign finance violation that Donald Trump did. It was election interference. Because campaign finance would mean that the campaigns, that the funds to pay off Stormy Daniels came from his campaign. They did not. Michael Cohen paid the $130,000 and Trump reimbursed them. So it was not a campaign finance violation. It was election interference.
Okay, true. I agree with you.
All right.
But no one can ever say what the other crime is. They say when he flubbed the numbers on the ledger, the falsification, that was in an effort to hide another crime. But no one ever can say what that other crime is, including you.
No. Here, the election interference is the underlying crime. He falsified business records to cover up the hush money payment he made to Stormy Daniels as a form of election interference. Because when he paid her off, what he did, what his plan was, is to make it so that she would not tell the public that they had that affair. And if she would have told the public that, it would have obviously influenced the election, because now people, especially those evangelical voters and stuff that he needed, would have said, wait a minute, he fucked a porn star behind his wife's back. So he falsified records to cover that up.
That's all true, but what you said is untrue. You said if it were you, talking about you running for office, and you did the same thing, it would still be a crime or would not be a crime?
No, I said if it was me, if I was just, say I fucked somebody behind my wife's back, right? And then I paid her off to keep her mouth shut. I'm pretty sure that's not a crime. But if I'm running for office, during an election, I'm paying somebody off to keep information from the American electorate. That's a crime.
That's where you're wrong, because according to Alan Dershowitz, the act has to be a crime if he's not running for office. So like you just said, if it were you cheating on your wife and you paid off someone to be quiet, that's not a crime. It has to be the act has to be a crime if he's not running for office. That's the standard. Because otherwise, think about it.
It doesn't.
Anybody, how would you prove that he paid off the porn star just to keep his wife from knowing? You're saying it was to keep his campaign on the road, but there's no way to tell. If he says, I did it to keep my wife in the dark about my affair, that's perfectly legal. You just admitted it.
No, but he didn't do it for that purpose.
How do you know?
And Alan Dershowitz was Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer, bro. Are you serious right now?
I know.
He's a scumbag. But listen, let me read it to you.
Judge Judy a scumbag?
Yes. Let me read this to you.
Well, is she a real judge?
She's a piece of shit, cock-sucking, Trump-supporting, right-wing whore. That's what she is.
Oh, so obviously you heard what she said about the case, that you had to wrap yourself up in pretzels to understand.
No, I did not hear a word. I didn't even know she commented on it, but she's a lunatic.
Well, she's not really a Trump fan. She just said that these charges, the 34 felonies, were totally trumped up, ridiculous nonsense.
She's a Trump supporter.
You still can't tell me. I'm sorry, go ahead.
She's a Trump supporter. Listen, let me read it to you and see if this helps. The underlying crime was a conspiracy to promote or prevent an election by unlawful means, a violation of New York election law 17-152. Prosecutors argued that Trump falsified business records to conceal this crime, which involved making an illegal hush money payment to Stormy Daniels to influence the 2016 presidential election. The conspiracy. The prosecution argued that Trump, along with others, engaged in a conspiracy to catch and kill negative stories about him during the 2016 presidential campaign. The payment to Stormy Daniels was part of this effort to unlawfully influence the election.
So what you guys have done is you've taken political practices that have gone on as long as there's been politicians, and then all of a sudden you thought it was a good idea to start trying to criminalize just regular standard behavior, and then you didn't think it was going to come back around if another Republican took office, and now you got these people that were previously in the deep state that are now in deep shit, and people like me think it's just glorious.
Who's that? Who's that?
Cheated. James Comey.
James Comey's charges were dismissed. The case was dropped 2 days ago.
They're coming back, dude. Don't you know anything about that? They tried one way to get rid of that. It didn't work.
The statute of limitations is up.
They came out and said that they didn't fill out not all the jury members saw it. Remember that? Then they had the court transcript that proved that all the jury members saw it and signed it. So then they had to do something else. They got rid of that attractive lawyer, but it's coming back. If you don't think it's coming back, you're delusional, dude. Because everyone knows he lied. He sat there and lied to everyone. He said he didn't leak the story. He didn't give it to anyone else to leak, and that's been proven 100% true that he did do that. So, I mean, you're just really wishful thinking if you don't think that he and other members of the deep state are going to pay for their crimes.
Okay, can I tell you something?
Your show. Go ahead.
Okay. The statute of limitations is up. James Comey's not being prosecuted again.
That's not true. He will.
The 5-year statute of limitations. Let me read it for you. The 5-year statute of limitations for the charges against James Comey has expired, and a recent ruling suggests it can't be refiled. However, the Department of Justice may still try to pursue new indictments, arguing that a federal law allows for a 6-month window after a dismissal to recharge a case. Comey's legal team maintains that because the initial indictment was void, the statute of limitations has passed and further charges are barred.
The the 5 years starts over. When he lied again to Ted Cruz, the time started over.
No, it didn't. That can't
Uh-huh.
happen.
But hey, I listen to your show a lot, and I actually like you. I don't know your name though.
Chris.
Is it okay if I call you by your name?
It's Chris, yeah.
Bruce?
Chris.
Chris.
Yeah.
Chris, you still can't in a million years tell us what the other crime is. The crime was falsification of business
He's
records
not listening.
in an attempt to hide another crime. What was the other crime? It wasn't paying off a porn star because that's perfectly legal.
No, it's not if you're running for president. Listen, I read it to you. I'll read it to you again. Hold on. And by the way, when you bring up John Edwards and Hillary, when you bring up all these things and you compare it to that, you need, if you want to make a comparison, you have to bring up something that's similar. What is similar? Like what other candidate in an election has paid off a porn star? No, has paid off somebody to cover up an affair and then lied about it in business records so he didn't get caught.
How did he lie about it? All he did is he put down in his ledger. And by the way, these were his ledgers that wouldn't even be turned over until after the election. Think about that for a minute. They were preemptively trying to get him on something that he would have had to turn into the IRS and others, the Federal Election Committee, after the darn election had already passed. So that's one thing. But the main thing is Hillary Clinton did the exact same thing. She paid for the Steele dossier. You read it off a minute ago. Why don't you think about it for a minute and see what the difference is in your eyes? Because really, there's not one. She did the same thing. She falsified her business records to hide who paid for this Steele dossier. And then when she got caught, she got fined. Trump should have been fined for the same thing.
Why didn't Trump, who hates her and has a reputation for prosecuting his enemies?
There wasn't a crime. How's he going to go
after
her?
So there you go. There wasn't a crime, but with Trump there was. You just answered your own
but
question.
When Trump did the exact same thing, it was a crime.
It was not the exact same thing. Listen, I'm going to read it again.
It was. How was it not? It was falsification of business records.
I'm going to read it again.
She put down
the underlying charge
and
is.
If you want to think about it, what she did is even worse because she was making up
Hold on, bro. You said you wouldn't talk over me.
Russia. Do you know how much time and energy that Russia? It just drained the whole country for 4 years.
People went to jail for that.
I think she should be sued for that. I'm going to get back to work, Chris. Thanks for taking my call, though, buddy.
All right.
And have a good day.
All right. Bye. People went to jail. When you guys say Russia, it was a real thing. You realize people went to jail for that, right? Like people went to jail for colluding with Russia to get Trump elected. They went to prison. His people from his own team went to prison because of it. And again, what he's talking about with Hillary Clinton is a campaign finance violation. That is literally not what Trump did. That's not what Trump did. He did not do a campaign finance violation. In order to do a campaign finance violation, you have to use campaign funds. He did not do that. And I'll read it again. The underlying charge is difficult. Wait a minute. Oh, I got the wrong. I searched the wrong thing. I'm sorry. All right. Now, the underlying charge in the hush money case was falsifying business records, specifically 34 counts in New York. Prosecutors alleged that that the records were falsified to conceal a crime, which was a violation of federal. Oh, this was campaign. I take it back. Federal campaign finance law by reimbursing his lawyer. That's why Michael Cohen for the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels. The crime, the felony charge of falsifying business records, was based on the intent to commit, aid, or conceal another crime. So that's it. And the crime was election interference. The underlying crime, prosecutors argued that this other crime was a violation of federal campaign finance laws, as the hush money payment was made to influence the 2016 presidential election without proper disclosure. So I was wrong about the campaign finance. I didn't realize it was campaign finance funds. But still, and here, the other thing, the thing I read earlier. This explains it better. Okay, the underlying crime in the hush money case was the intent to conceal an unlawful act, which elevated the charge of falsifying business records from a misdemeanor to a felony. That's how the misdemeanors became felonies. The unlawful act alleged by prosecutors was a conspiracy to unlawfully influence the 2016 presidential election by burying negative stories to prevent voters from learning about them. So let me tell you the difference. So Hillary Clinton paid with campaign funds. She paid for like Oppo research, the Steele dossier, and that was I guess what she got fined for, because she wasn't supposed to use the funds for that. This is a case where while he was running for president, he paid a porn star not to tell the American electorate that he had an affair on his current wife while she was at home with their child. He was fucking a porn star. Then he falsified business records to cover up that crime. So that's it. That's all I can tell you. I mean, I don't know any better way to describe it when I'm reading it, from sources like the Department of Justice and shit that explains the actual crime. Let me see something here real quick. Guys, please hit the like and subscribe. It's very, very important. My thank you, Matthew Wren. It actually was. He just screams over me, but that was actually he was polite and it was good. It was good. Let me see. Let me just see something real quick. But please hit the like button and subscribe, guys. My algorithm is shot. So I need to get back up there. I'm not going to look too. If I find this, I'll read it to you guys on the next show. But this is a law professor who explains the entire thing about why it turned out the way it did and the felonies became felonies and all that. So, let me see. Wow, he had sex with a porn star. What a crime. Again, this is why I think you guys vote for Donald Trump, and you're not capable of no, I'm not. Neither was the guy that was on the phone, and neither are you. But lawyers have said, they've explained this thoroughly. So I don't need to be a lawyer. I can read what lawyers are explaining, and I can read shit from the Department of Justice.gov that explains the exact charge and stuff like that. So when you say I'm not a lawyer, are you? I'm not reading accusations. Let me explain some things to you. Accusations are what comes before a prosecution and a conviction. He was convicted. All I'm reading is the exact crimes that were committed because you guys refuse to understand them, even though when you don't know shit, and even a Republican House Oversight Committee said Joe Biden didn't do anything wrong, you will fucking state as fact that he's guilty. Okay. But when Trump is found guilty, he's not guilty. So when Biden is cleared, he's guilty. When Trump is convicted, he's not guilty. So it's all cherry picking and selective outrage with you and everything else. Because if these crimes, if Joe Biden was convicted of this same fucking thing, every one of you would be arguing that the crimes were real and he deserved to get convicted. And you would. And if you say otherwise, you're full of shit. Who's going to trigger this guy into calling his viewers punks all day? Probably you, James. But what was the one I was going to answer? There was something that I was looking at. Hold on. Who cares if he was fined? He was convicted. LOL. Yeah, he was convicted. Yeah. I don't know. I think I was going to have to try to explain this to you guys again, but you don't get it anyway. Oh, that. Yeah. Wow, he had sex with a porn star. What a crime. That's the one I was going to respond to. He didn't get convicted of having sex with a porn star. That's not illegal. Even having a sex with a porn star behind your wife's back. I mean, she could divorce you for it. I guess it could be considered civilly illegal or something. But, That's not the crime, and that's not what he was charged with. He wasn't charged with having sex with a porn star. Again, I'll say it again. Donald Trump was running for president. Stormy Daniels had information that could fuck up his chances of being elected. So what he did as a way to interfere with those chances, to interfere with the election, is he paid her to keep her mouth shut. Then he lied in his business records, okay, about the payment he made to her to cover up, the affair they had, which in itself is a crime when you're running for president. It's election interference. Okay. I don't understand. This is why I think you guys vote MAGA. You are incapable of learning. I could read it to you 1,000 times and you'll say shit like this. Chris, you are not a lawyer and reading accusations. I did not read a single accusation. I read to you the crimes that were committed and the outcome of the case. Stipe, $2 match. Thank you, Stipe. Yeah, if any of you guys would like to match his $2 donation, you know where the super chat button is. Let me see. Joey Dimes, $2 matched. Thank you, Joey Dimes. I appreciate that, brother. Trump is a felon and should be in prison. Yeah, and that's another thing, guys. He is literally a felon. I mean, somebody in the beginning of the show tried to argue that he's not a felon because his charges just got dismissed. His verdict didn't get overturned. His convictions didn't get overturned. He is, in fact, a 34-time felon. So I don't understand how you guys can see something that something is reality. It's real. It really happened. And then say, no, it didn't. I just don't get it. The biggest problem is that they use their religion to brainwash them, so they refuse to incriminate Trump in their own minds because it would make their religion responsible for lying to them. I agree with you. I agree. Do you, MAGA, agree with what Trump is doing to Senator Kelly? Good question. Do you? Trump has never committed any crime ever, never convicted. Okay. Well, he was convicted. He's a felon as we speak. They even, I believe, he had to turn his gun in. You know that, right? He had a gun in Mar-a-Lago and had to turn it over because felons can't own firearms. MAGA, we know Trump betrayed us. We know he's protecting child molesters. We know he's an Israel first traitor. Yeah, 100%. BB from VA, 199 super sticker. Thank you, BB. She was extorting him. Well, you know what? She might have been. And if she was, she should have been prosecuted for it. Well, but Gigolo King, you think I'm doing it because I want to, or because the people in this chat, no matter how many times you read it to them, they still don't get it? You're just a stupid fucking Democrat with TDS. See, with the name calling. There we go, Donald. Yeah. Why? Because you don't like what I'm saying about your fucking leader, your God. Too bad. 90% of Trump accounts are just foreign actors or bots, and the remaining are just loser retards. Exactly, Aaron. Mike Ramey, my boy, $5. Can you read the New York election law 17152 and read it out loud, please? New York election law 17152. Hold on. And thank you for the $5. Just do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button. It's very important. It really helps my channel and these streams out a lot. And subscribe to me, especially if you like the show. Why not? You'll see a bunch of them. 17152. Okay. Let's see. Conspiracy to promote or prevent election. Any two or more persons who conspire to promote or prevent the election of any person to a public office by unlawful means, and which conspiracy is acted upon by one or more of the parties thereto, shall be guilty of a misdemeanor. Okay. So what are you getting at, Mike? Because if you're going to say that it says he should be guilty of a misdemeanor, when you cover up the falsification of business records, that was also misdemeanors. But when you're doing it to cover up a crime, which would be what I just read, that's the crime, then it becomes a felony. So maybe I'm confused. What did you? What was that supposed to prove? I'm sorry. The Demo KKK rats. Yeah, you mean the ones that fight against racism while Republicans fight for it? Yeah, I know the KKK thing. Another guy doesn't understand the big switch. Demon rats are heathens. MAGA are fucking retards who act like third graders. Liberal tears. I'm not crying. Republicans do nothing but lie. True. Trump never committed conspiracy. Oh, yes, he did. You know why? And I'm glad, Mike, that you had me read this because it was him and Michael Cohen. He had Michael Cohen make the payment to Stormy Daniels as a form of election interference. That's what made it a conspiracy. You got to be very careful with that. Believe me, I know. Not about election stuff, but I know about conspiracy when it comes to committing crimes. I never thought Americans would protect and even love a pedophile, a rapist, an adulterer, a pathological liar, a con man over hungry children, disabled folks, and retirees. Do better, MAGA. Brad, it's a party built on hate. And as long as Trump hates the same people they hate, they're there for him. They support him. You know what I mean? Hey, buddy, I can't get any MAGA people to read Revelation 13:3. Why is that? I don't know the Bible like that. I'm an atheist. So what crime was being covered up? Election interference. Jesus fucking Christ. They can't let him go because he is the closet that the rabid racists the closest that the rabid racists and regressives on the political right will ever get to enacting their hatred and toxic worldview on the rest of America. Correct. TDS is real, but it applies to MAGA cult, not the 75% of the rest of us in the US or entire Western world that despises him. The cult is deranged. That's what I try to tell them. We see Trump for who he is. If we see a fact about Trump, we acknowledge it's a fact. They see him through these rose-colored glasses. He's this Bible thumping, yeah, right. The guy probably never went to church in his life, doesn't even believe in God. Flag waving patriot that cares about the working class. You have to be a fucking mental patient to believe that. If you believe that about Donald Trump, you should be in a fucking straitjacket on a funny farm right now. Trump is from God, you leftist freaks. See what I mean? Cohen went to prison. Yes, Cohen went to prison. Definitely. Yeah. You literally make me proud to be a Republican. Listen, in other words, you're stupid and I make you proud to be stupid. Okay, Russell, whatever. I mean, I know you guys probably can't understand me when I speak because I don't talk on a third grade level, but whatever it is that makes you proud to be a Republican, I don't know, man. You're proud to be a guy who supports pedophiles. Yeah, I'm not surprised, Russell. A lot of you guys are pedos, I think, to be honest. And you support terrorist guy. Who would be the terrorist again? Go ahead, say the racist shit you're going to say, Mom Donnie. Right? Why is he a terrorist exactly? Atheists are Jews? Oh, yeah. No, they're not. No one has a proven sex crime by Trump. Who are you saying does? And by the way, yes, they do. He was found civilly liable for sexual assault. Sexual assault is a crime. And if the statute of limitations wasn't up, he would have been most likely been found guilty in a court of law, and he would be in prison. Republicans can't win on their policies because they're so unpopular, so they convince their followers that they're involved in some sort of holy war for America's soul. Yes, that's why they use the culture war stuff, us against them, They've convinced white people in America that straight white people are actually the victims. When they were in charge of everything in the world, they're fucking in the country anyway, that they're actually the ones getting the short end of the stick in America. And these people believe it because they want to believe it. A lot of these people, like Russell here, they're miserable people. They've never been anything in their lives. They've never, seen any type of success. They've never even had sex with an attractive woman. They never had a big group of friends. They never fit in with anybody, so what was I getting at? I don't know. I forget. That's what I was getting at. So they a lot of them, and they can't handle that because one thing with Republicans, especially MAGA, is they're just like Donald Trump in many ways, but one specifically, they refuse to take accountability for their own actions. That's why people like me and many of you, we don't sit around talking about Mexicans taking our jobs and stuff like that. We don't sit around talking about Muslims doing this and that to us and black people, our tax money and welfare and blah, blah. You know why? Because we're happy fucking people and we're doing fine. You know what I mean? We're happy people. I'm a happy guy. I do well for myself. You know what I mean? I have a happy life. I have a gorgeous wife. I have a nice home. I have vehicles. I have everything I want in life. And, I'm not angry. I'm not bitter. So I don't care what Mexicans are doing. I don't care what Muslims are doing. I don't care. If they're not hurting anybody, I don't give a fuck. But these guys, they're not where they want to be in life. And God forbid they just said, hey, it's my own fault. I made some bad life choices. They can't do that. They don't have it in them. So instead, it's everybody else's fault. Plus, MAGA is a movement they finally fit into. Anybody could be a part of MAGA. All you got to do is be willing to blow Donald Trump. That's it. So when people have never fit in, never been a part of anything, all of a sudden, this is their whole identity, MAGA. They wear the clothes, they wave the flags, they have the yard signs, they're obsessed. Everything is Trump, Trump, Trump. When they get together with friends, they're all MAGA, and that's all they talk about is Trump. It's their whole identity. So God forbid they ever had to admit that he's wrong, or that he's really a pedo, or that he's covering up the Epstein files, or that he did anything wrong. That would fuck up their entire identity. They have to stay true to Trump no matter what he does. No matter what he does, they have to stay true to him, because if they turn on him, it's like they're turning on themselves. It's like they're giving up their whole identity. I believe it 100%. Needing the government to pamper you is weak. Well, who needs that? I mean, a disproportionate amount of welfare funding goes to red states. So who are you referring to? I identify as non-binary. That, Paul Sauce, as much as I don't like you, is fucking hilarious. That is hilarious. See, at least that's funny. See, you guys should do better like Paul here. At least he's funny. I identify as non-binary. That's great. I hate, no. Let me explain something. I hate you. Okay. I hate MAGA. I hate Trump. You guys hate everybody else. Okay. You guys hate Muslims, black people, Mexicans, any Latino of any kind, anybody who speaks Spanish, anybody who has an accent, anybody who's not lily white. You hate women. Fuck. I think some of you hate children. You hate everybody. The whole Trump MAGA movement is built on mutual hatred. Mutual hatred. Thank you, Michael Anthony. How come Mike Ramey never got back to me about that thing he had me read? I think he was were you trying to prove my point and explain that was the crime, or what? Because I don't know, Mike Ramey, what you were getting at. You are an atheist, remember. Oh, yeah, you're fucking right, I am. It's called being a critical thinker. Yes, critical thinkers are generally atheists because they've put thought into, the story of the Bible and God and things like that. I mean, critical thinkers and just people with basic common knowledge of history and stuff do not believe that the world is 6,000 years old, the planet. They don't, they know better, So there's enough bullshit in there. I know that there's no such thing as talking snakes. I know that a virgin can't give birth. Okay, I know stuff like this. So therefore, I don't believe in any of that horse shit. All right, James Salisbury, thanks. But do me a favor. When you insult me, could you at least spell your right? It's YOU''RE, dopey. I'm MAGA. I'm married, 3 kids, own 2 houses, run my own business. I've achieved more than you. So what the fuck are you talking about? Really? How do you know that, Knight Rider? How do you know that? And I'll tell you what your situation proves, if you're telling the truth, because Knight Rider, you do realize that your name is Knight Rider in my chat and you're using some sort of cartoon avatar. So you could say that you're fucking Bill Gates. and nobody could prove it one way or the other. Why would I even believe you that that's you could very well be living in a trailer somewhere and paying $300 a month lot rent and you know, about to be evicted because you can't make the rent. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just telling me because in internet land, people could be whatever they want. You know, you're just telling me that about yourself. Give me your name. I'll check it out. I'll see if it's true, you know? But if it's all true, what you're saying in your comment, then that just proves that even successful people can be stupid, you know? Trump has 87% approval rating. You believe that? 80% approval from CNN. 87%, I mean. You sure that's not among Republicans? 87% approval rating from CNN. Shit, 87. Let me see here. Wait, is this new? Let me see if this is 2 days ago. Just in, new numbers show President Trump sitting at a massive 87% approval among Republicans. You dopey motherfuckers. Among Republicans. Oh, God. You guys can't be for real. You realize his approval rating. What is Trump's approval rating today? It's probably like 38%, like it has been. Yeah, look it up. It's been around 8 days ago. Donald Trump's approval rating fell to 38%. You're talking about among Republicans. You guys are so full of shit or just so dumb that you don't understand. Donald Trump has never had a good approval rating. Never. And between him and Biden, he had a lower approval rating at one point than Biden ever had. Holy shit. I think he was down to a 34% approval rating at one point. The hypocrisy is at an all-time high. You're upset people talk about losing their jobs and blame a demographic, but you do the same thing, but you blame Trump. No, I don't. There's nothing in my life I blame on Trump. Nothing in my life. Plus, I'm smart enough to know that any job I get, an illegal alien can't take. I'm going to work for a legit company on the books where I need a social security number and all that. And on the application, it says, can you provide proof of citizenship? You guys have been convinced into believing illegals are taking your jobs. It's not the case. Unless you're working off the books somewhere for cheap wages. You know, it's not. I don't blame anything in my life on Donald Trump. I blame things that are going on in the country on him. But my life is great. And guess what? It was great under Biden. It was great under Obama. It was great under Bush, George W. Bush. It was great under Bill Clinton. I don't blame anybody for my problems. Anything I've ever gone through, for the most part, is my own fault. I blame myself for my addictions. I'm 6.5 years clean and sober now, but I'm fully aware it was my fault that I became addicted to substances. I blame myself for my criminal record. It was my fault for committing crimes. If I go broke tomorrow, it's my fault. It's not Donald Trump's fault. But you guys, everything is the immigrants' fault and the Muslims' fault. There's no hypocrisy here, bro. We are not on the same level. Blue voters in red states. Yeah, right. Look it up. Most of that, the disproportionate amount of SNAP funding that goes to red states is white people in rural areas. You want to hear something that's going to blow your fucking mind? You're going to be real pissed off. Let me show you something. Because you guys, you're so stupid. You think it's like all black people on welfare. It's so dumb. You got to convince yourselves of that, I guess. Guys, hit the like button and subscribe, please. Very important. Highest use of food stamps in the USA. Are you ready? Owsley County, Kentucky. 99.22% white, 95% Republican. Everything you guys believe, the opposite is true. You have been convinced by Republicans and Donald Trump, who lie to you on a constant basis, day in and day out, that all your problems are someone else's fault. You know, someone else's fault. What do you mean per capita, SBOW? How does per capita apply to the highest use of food stamps in the country is Owsley County? And there's 99.2%. It's 99.22% white people, 95% Republican. Those are just the numbers there. I don't think it's per capita. It doesn't say that. That's for sure. So, and of course, wait a minute. What am I talking about? Of course it would be per capita, you dipshits. What am I even talking about? I fucked myself up there. Yeah. There's going to be, if you don't do per capita, then you'd have to say, well, there's more people using food stamps in certain counties in California, but the counties are 50 times the size of Owsley County. So yeah, per capita. That's not a good thing for your argument. That's a bad thing for your argument. Of course they do, Christine. Of course. Listen, man. Well, Mike, at least I hope you believed it when you heard it the first time, because it's still true and it was then. What was I going to say? I forget. That's not news. It's news to a lot of you, Mike, because look at the chat. People don't believe me. So it's news. People never heard this before. They keep talking about his low approval ratings, yet he fucking smashed the election. He won by 2 million votes. Biden beat him by 7 million votes. He didn't smash anything. He beat a woman, which, by the way, it's been made clear now that this country will never elect a woman as president. He beat a woman who had 107 days to campaign. Okay. And it was a situation where Joe Biden and Kamala were blamed for the economy, even though the economy was the way it was because of COVID and certain decisions by Trump too. So that he didn't smash anything. Y'all all lost. I'm out of here. Who's y'all? You mean the MAGA people? I hope so. Isn't more on the state to provide than the government? And the Fed government. What do you mean? For what exactly? It's white females with 8 kids who don't know who their daddy is, ran by demon rats who believe these demon rats polls anyway. Polls, P-O-L-E-S, demon rats. Do you guys ever feel like children when you say stuff like that? Like, I could never get myself to come on here and talk about retardlicans or Republicans, because I'd feel like a fucking third grader. I'd feel like a child. I'm 46 years old. I can never, it's like calling somebody boogerhead. It's like, you're still a child in your mind, which is probably why Donald Trump can con you, because you're that dumb. Donald Trump, no person with even average intelligence can be conned by Donald Trump. It's impossible. It's impossible because they'd see through him, How many trannies did Biden have in his administration? As far as I know, I think 1, and who really cares? Donald Trump has how many people that have been accused of sexual assault and shit? Linda McMahon was literally part of a child sex scandal. He wanted Matt Gaetz to be attorney general. That fucking guy was sending Venmo payments to teenagers he was fucking. Pete Hegseth was accused of sexual assault. Donald Trump himself, the president, was accused of sexual assault 27 times. But being a tranny is worse than being a rapist. Got it. I didn't call anybody a moron for getting food stamps. That's just you twisting my words. Never in any way, shape, or form did I do that. Why? He just made you look dumb. Who made who look dumb? Who are you talking about? Has the majority of Trump watch buyers got their watch? I think the weight makes the MAGAs feel special. Trump is Chris Cringe hammering out each watch. Yeah, I know. Chris Kringle, you mean? Yeah. Just the opposite. We want government out of our life. No, you don't. No, you don't. You support a man who's violated, I don't even know how many fucking amendments in the Constitution, and talked about violating many more. Your freedom of speech has been infringed, whether you realize it or not. He's using the military to break up peaceful protests, you know? And I know you guys are on his side, but let me tell you, for some reason you turned against him and you were peacefully protesting against him. You might be fucked up by the National Guard too. You know, you don't want government out of your life. You want government in women's bodies, for fuck's sake. Don't tell me you want small government. You want the government to be able to decide whether or not a woman has to have a baby. Okay? You're wrong. You're wrong. You guys say that, and I don't know if you really think it, but it's not true. The government overreach under the Trump administration is unprecedented, and you guys are fine with it. You know why? Because a lot of the stuff he's doing isn't affecting you. You don't give a fuck that it's affecting a lot of other people. What these people think doesn't matter. As soon as Musk and Thiel help Vance invoke the 25th Amendment, remove Trump, they will all wake up and wonder where the last decade of their lives went. It's really true, man. It's really true. A lot of you guys, I mean, a lot of you guys, sorry, I was looking at another comment. You're going to ask yourself one day, what the fuck did I do? What did I do? Because I know all of you have lost something or someone because of your obsession with this man. I know it. And it's the demon rats who blame conservatives for their poverty. First of all, I don't know what a demon rat is. You're a retard. If you mean a Democrat, I vote Democrat. And I'm not in poverty. And I got some news for you, Ron Sinclair. You want me to hurt your feelings again? And you could look this up right now. Don't take my word for it. I don't want anybody to take my word for anything. I want you to research what I say. The red states in this country are the poorest states in this country. That is a fact. Red states are the poorest states in America. And it's mostly the rural areas that are the poorest, not those blue areas. That's why they get a disproportionate amount of SNAP funding. So I don't hear any Democrats blaming conservatives for anything. Give me an example. Biden ruined our country. Yeah. How did he do that? How did he do that? Tell me specifically. $2. How does anyone fail a casino and a vodka? The fucking guy went bankrupt with casinos, multiple casinos. How do you do that? The house always wins. He's a horrible businessman. Oh, shit. Mike, SCOTUS rejected the Republican Supreme Court, the mainly Republican-controlled Supreme Court rejected Roe. Of course, yeah, of course. Even though, the Republicans said they would not even bring it before the Supreme Court justice or the Supreme Court and all that stuff. Yeah. It was, decided on case law already, and they weren't going to fuck with it. And then they did. Yeah. Mike Ramey, $20, got pulled away. When you commit a conspiracy, you got to show intent. Just like Edwards, they couldn't prove intent. Telling the jury they don't have to be unanimous on the underlying crime shows they couldn't prove intent. It's not true. I actually read about that, Mike, and thank you for the $20. But that's a perfectly normal thing that happens in court cases when they don't have to be unanimous on an underlying crime. And conspiracy, there is intent. You understand? Like the conspiracy was him and Michael Cohen paying the hush money payment to Stormy Daniels. And their intent was to cover up for the crime they committed. That's the intent. Conspiracy with the intent, basically, to cover up election interference. So that is, anytime there's a conspiracy, there's intent. Anytime. It's just, listen, if somebody calls me up today and says, I got a brick of Coke, come with me to deliver it. And, we'll both make a little something, you know what I'm saying? And I go with them and we get busted. It's conspiracy to distribute cocaine. And the intent was to do just that and to profit off of it. So, that's because you're godless. Let me tell you something. You're godless too. You just don't know it. We're all godless. There's no God. You support a bigger pedo. Who would that be? Nah, not true. Is that true? I don't believe you, but I'll check. Who's a racist lover? You mean the MAGA people? Yeah, they are. Oh, yeah, look at that. Shooting incident in downtown Washington, D.C. that it injured at least 2 National Guard members nearby. It didn't happen at the White House. The White House is just on lockdown. Near the White House, reportedly just 1 block away, at least 2 members of the U.S. National Guard were shot. Their conditions are currently unknown. Well, the U.S. National Guard shouldn't be there. Why is the average American moving out of California and New York and heading to Florida, Tennessee, and Texas? Well, Mike, that doesn't even make sense because the average American doesn't live in California or New York. New Yorkers and Californians live in California and New York. The average American lives in one of 50 states, okay? That's just you saying that. There's no hardcore proof that even Californians and New York in large numbers are moving to Florida, Tennessee, and Texas. There's no proof of that. That's just you saying it. Blue states have economies and red states have incest. Yeah, no shit. These red states would all go bankrupt without just California alone. They never stated the crime. Trump will be let off. Show us evidence that there is no God. Show me evidence that there is one. And I just read the crimes. You guys just failed. You won't acknowledge that they're crimes. I shouldn't even have this argument with you guys anymore because you are brainwashed. You will say things that aren't crimes are crimes, or you'll convict Biden in your own opinion. Because you feel like he received money from his son, from Burisma, or whatever the fuck it is. Meanwhile, a Republican House Oversight Committee said he did nothing wrong. He's still guilty, as far as you say. But Trump, a jury of his peers, which, by the way, if you've ever been on trial, okay, your lawyer gets to pick those jurors right along with the prosecution. So it's not that it was 12 biased people against Trump. It was 12 people that his lawyer helped pick. They convicted him of these crimes. You guys weren't on the jury. You don't know shit about the law, obviously. But you insist that Donald Trump isn't guilty only because you don't want him to be. That's why you're brainwashed. If Hunter Biden, he committed a crime, right? Do you think I'm going to sit here and say he wasn't guilty of it? No, he was guilty of it. He was guilty of it. Okay. But you guys can't say Donald Trump is guilty of his crimes. It doesn't matter what the crime is. If he would have got elected or if he would have got convicted for that Raffensperger thing where there's literally a recorded phone call where he told Raffensperger, the Secretary of State in Georgia, that I need you to find me 11,000 votes. Clear-cut crime, caught him red-handed, dead to rights. If he had got convicted of that, you would still be saying it's not a real crime, but it is. So it doesn't matter what these charges are. Bottom line is your boy is a 34-time convicted felon, and I'm going to assume he's probably going to stay a 34-time convicted felon, and there's nothing you could say or do about it. So just because you don't understand the charges he was convicted of doesn't make them any less legit. A jury, second graders convicted Trump. I don't get it. What do you mean? When you get convicted of a felony, you are a felon. Trump is a felon. Simple as that. Biden said himself that their money could never be traced. Oh yeah, give me the source. Give me the video or the audio where Biden says that. All you got to do is put the title in the chat, and I'll look it up and show everybody. Because of course, no, he didn't. He didn't say that. You're brainwashed. YOUR. If you think the trial in New York was above board with that judge running the show, it will be overturned. Then what will you say? Well, you're just assuming it will be overturned. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. But the trial was above board, or Donald Trump and his lawyers would have had this shit overturned like that. He's been a convicted felon for how long now? Quite some time. What's taken so fucking long? And the funny thing is that you care so much because you're so obsessed with this man. You know what I mean when I say you guys. Never convicted. Facts. Do you see what I mean? There's people in this chat that say he was never convicted of felonies. In other words, there's MAGA people out there. They're right here in this chat that don't believe that Trump is a convicted felon when it's literally a fact that he is. Guys, please hit the like and subscribe. All of you, as many of you, listen, everybody at least who agrees with me, hit the like button right now. Don't wait. Do it now. It's important. And if you haven't subscribed already, how dare you? Please subscribe. Jury of Trump's peers. Oh, second graders? Yeah. He's the president too. He could be 30,000 time convicted felon. Doesn't change the fact democracy won in 2024. Democracy won. I mean, yeah, it was a democracy, and Donald Trump won the election fair and square. But he's still a 34-time convicted felon, so I don't get it. He's a 34-time convicted felon. You know what I mean? And he's twice impeached. The only president ever to be impeached twice. And he's found civilly liable for sexual assault. And you guys are so fine with that. You don't care about rape. You don't care about pedophilia. You don't care. You just care about your hate. You just care about your anger towards all the people you blame for your pathetic lives. It's a shame. You don't actually know what that means for someone to say, find me 11,000 votes. You really don't know what that means. It's said all the time by someone running for office. How naive can you be? It's said by people running for office. They call the Secretary of State after an election and say, I don't have enough votes in your state, so I need you to find me 11,000 votes. Mike, if you believe that, I don't think you're paying attention. Look what the mental gymnastics they have to do. In other words, Trump's saying after the election that he lost, while he was litigating it and doing everything in his power to overturn the election, calls the Secretary of State of Georgia and says, I need you to find me 11,000 votes. And this guy says, you don't know what he meant, though. It's nothing. Oh, what it meant is, I need you to find me 11,000 votes. Now, where would he find them? All the votes were counted, and there was a recount already. He obviously meant fabricate 11,000 votes. And Raffensperger said no, because he wasn't going to break the law. Sure I am. Happy Thanksgiving, Unknown Trader. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you, actually. I hope you all have a good day with your families tomorrow. It hasn't been overturned as of now, so felon. He's not a felon, idiot. There's people. Yeah, I am a felon too. You're right, Ultimate Sacrifice. I don't have as many felonies as the president, though. Is Donald Trump a convicted felon? Is Donald Trump a convicted felon? Trump appeals against conviction in hush money case. What's he appealing if he's not convicted, you dopey motherfuckers? U.S. President Donald Trump has filed an appeal to overturn his May 2024 criminal conviction in the hush money payment case, arguing he is shielded by presidential immunity. Trump was convicted of 34 felony counts of falsifying business records by a unanimous jury in New York. He's not a felon. This fucking guy said he's not a felon, idiot. Thank you, user. I appreciate it. Please hit the like and subscribe, everybody. Only Trump meat riders say that. Yeah, man. A corrupt judge can convict anyone, including your dumbass. No, not when there's a jury trial. If there's not a jury trial and it's up to the judge, I guess. But this was a jury, dickhead. The judge didn't convict them, jackass David Gambler. The fucking jury did. You ever see a trial where they read the verdict? The verdict is the jury convicting him or saying not guilty. In this case, they all said guilty, all 12 of them. That's what makes it unanimous. So, and that jury was picked partially by Donald Trump's lawyers. So, you obviously are the one who knows nothing about that trial in New York. I would refer you to Democrat law professor at Georgetown University, Jonathan Turley, for an expert opinion on that case. So in other words, Mike, what you do is it's all confirmation biased with you guys. So what you'll do is you'll look for the one guy that says that the case was bullshit and that it wasn't above board. And then that's the guy you'll cite to everyone else to try to prove your point, even though there could be 1,000 others, law professors who said Yeah, no, it was above board, and he was guilty. Mike, I mean, what would one guy's opinion mean? I mean, this fucking guy that called earlier mentioned Alan Dershowitz, Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer, for fuck's sake. I mean, what does that prove? What that guy says? Why would that prove anything? Because I'll just find a law professor that says, nope, everything was above board and legit. Release the grinder files, MAGA, yeah. With no sentence and still holds the presidency. Yeah, he only wasn't sentenced because he won the election. Otherwise, he would have been sentenced. But you don't need, and it was an unconditional discharge. You don't need, like, you don't have to go to prison to be a felon. You'd only have to be convicted of a felony. So the sentence means nothing as far as whether or not he's a felon. There are people that don't believe he's a felon, just like you don't believe Obama, Bush, and Biden should be locked up for killing millions through wars. New Era Music. Now, let me tell you the differences. First of all, Bush, maybe. Obama and Biden did not kill millions through wars. In order to have done that, at the very least, they would have had to have started the wars. Okay. And Biden and Obama didn't start any wars. That's number one. Number two, it's your opinion that they should be locked up. It's not a fact. Donald Trump's conviction is a fact. So it's one thing to not believe somebody's opinion. It's another thing to not believe a fact. You can't not believe a fact. It's a fact. You understand? So again, that is a retarded false equivalence. First convicted felon to serve as president, making history. Oh, yeah, he's making history. All right. Yeah. Oh, my God, you're delusional. How? Tell me how. Just because you're not that smart, New Era Music, don't get mad at me. You can call the number right now and debate me if you want. Sherry, I don't, except maybe Mike here, I think. That's not true. The judge controls all evidence that gets seen by the jury, and the judge writes the jury instructions. Yeah, and it's the same in every trial. And the jury is the one that comes up with a verdict. So it is true. Because that's not, Mike, that's moving the goalpost. See, because the guy said a corrupt judge could find anyone guilty. Now you moved the goalpost and said, no, the guy's right because the judge controls all evidence. That's not finding him guilty. That's not finding him guilty. The jury, they took all the evidence into account, and then they had a decision to make, guilty or not guilty. They decided he's guilty. So the judge did not decide he's guilty. The judge did what you said, but he did not decide the guy's guilt or innocence. The jury does that. The jury does that. So it is true, Mike. It is. Well, it's 90% fucking MAGA. You know what I'm talking about, you. The deep state didn't want Trump. They tried assassinating him. They tried putting him in jail. You don't realize that Trump is the deep state? You haven't figured that out yet? And they tried assassinating him. Are you sure it wasn't a kid named, what was his name? Thomas Matthew Crooks? You sure it wasn't just some lone kid who decided he wanted to take a shot at the president? You sure it was they? There's a problem amongst humans where the people elect convicted criminals or their family. There are many examples in history. Hitler served 5 years before being elected. Listen, man, there is a huge segment of this country, damn near half, that has no morals and doesn't stand for anything. And MAGA represents all those people. And if you guys want to get mad at me, fine. You have no morals. If Joe Biden was found civilly liable for sexual assault, I would have never voted for him in a million fucking years. Same thing with Obama. Same thing with the next guy. Okay. If a guy has been accused of sexual assault 27 times, I would never vote for him. I don't give a fuck. If it would make me rich, I wouldn't vote for him. Okay. If a guy, I've seen him and heard him talk about his daughter in a sexual manner, I would never fucking vote for him in a million fucking years. If a guy has a reputation, a factual reputation as a lifelong con man and racist, there's nothing that could make me vote for him. Nothing. But you guys, all you care about is he getting rid of those Mexicans we hate? That's all you care about. You don't give a shit about any of this other stuff. You don't care. But if it was Biden that had any of this shit, oh my God, you would have gone nuts. I can't even imagine. Can you guys imagine if Obama just had 5 kids to 3 different women, the racist shit that would be said, and how many people would not have voted for him because they would have seen him as some sort of typical black guy? Could you fucking imagine if Barack Obama entered office and within 10 months made $3.8 billion off of the office of the presidency? Could you imagine if Joe Biden took a $400 million jet from Qatar that is going to cost taxpayers $1 billion to retrofit, and then it leaves with Joe Biden when he leaves office? Could you fucking imagine if Obama raised money from corporations to build a $300 million fucking ballroom? Could you imagine if Barack Obama tore down the East Wing of the White House? All you sick fucks that go insane because your history is being torn down when you lose a Confederate statue, you have no problem with the East Wing of the White House being demolished. You guys stand for fucking nothing. That's why nobody respects you. You are as full of shit as they fucking come. I can't stand you motherfuckers. And the funniest part about all this is that Donald Trump can't stand you either. He hates all of you. He looks down on you. He just needed your vote. And now he's fucking you more than he's fucking everybody else because his bad policies are affecting red states way more than they're affecting blue states. Way more. That's the thing about you guys. It blows my mind. If Obama or Biden had done 1/10 of what Trump did, holy fucking shit. I can't even imagine the shit you'd be saying. I can't even fucking imagine. I can't even imagine. Anyway, with that, guys, that's my mic drop moment. I'm out. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Hit the like button and subscribe. Bye.